Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a Project Destroyer overview and guide. So we're going to start here on the dashboard. This is where you'll be when you open up PD, and this is where you'll start and stop all your tasks. So I have 3 example tasks created right here. This first purple button starts the task. This one stops it. The trash can deletes the task. The blue edit button, you can edit your task. You can change the site, the profile, you can change your size. This is the SKU. You can also change the SKU to URL or keywords if you're using Shopify. And then this is the quantity and the proxy list you're using. These I usually don't worry about unless you want a custom delay. So next up is going to be the bottom. Start all is going to start all your tasks. Stop all, I'm just going to stop them. Clear is going to clear them. I'm not going to clear them. And then inspect will show you which proxies you're using. So right now I just have some random proxies that aren't real in my global proxy list, and they're just right here in my log. If I click inspect and then unclick and it'll go back. Next up is delays. This is your global error delay. This is your monitor. So error delay and monitor, I usually keep them the same. I usually just do 3333 for most sites, but I'll get into in-depth delays later on. So yeah, and then up here we got how many active tasks you have, and then active proxies. Keep in mind that active proxies only accounts for the proxies in your global list. So if you have them in other lists, it's not going to count them. And then this shows your proxy to task ratio. And then up here, a lot of people don't know about this, but it basically just sorts your tasks. So I have 2 footlocker tasks. Say I had like 100 of them, and I also had 100 chance tasks. Then I would go over here, select footlocker and all footlocker tasks, and say I want to stop all of them or start. I'll just click this and I'll start all the footlocker tasks. If I want to stop them, go to actions, stop, and clear, clone, edit, and you can edit your delays too. Over here, you can bulk edit your tasks. This basically is for Shopify. If there's like a mask link change or anything, you just put it in here, save it. And then this is like scheduling. I usually don't worry about the rest of this stuff. This is for like exporting your settings and stuff that I just don't really worry about too much. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the dashboard. Alright guys, next up is going to be creating tasks. So creating tasks is pretty simple. You just put in the site you want over here. So say I'm putting in like kith. I'll just select kith. I can add my keywords here with plus for positive keywords. So like hat, comma, and then you can use like minus for negative keywords, so short. If you want to use URL, you can just put the URL in like that. For URL. And then variants, you can also use, I don't really use variants. You have the mode over here. So preload is what you want to use for non-password page sites like kith or nice kicks or concepts or anything like that. And then super safe is going to be for like DSM or anything with a password page. Advanced is you sometimes want to run advanced on like DSM or non-password password page sites that have no bot protection. But keep in mind that advanced will get you banned pretty easily if it's on like kith or something with heavy bot protection. So down here we have account. So say you're running concepts and you need an account, you just enter like your Gmail, and then over here you enter your password. Quantity is if you can buy like more of one of the product, but usually I just leave it blank. And then over here you got your proxy list. So global, I usually use global and leave the global proxy list blank as it runs your local tasks, and local does pretty well on Shopify. Shipping rates. Shipping rates are helpful, especially for en ligne and social status. You need shipping rates. they basically make your checkout process faster. They don't have to wait like 3 seconds to find the rate. It automatically just submits it. And then send checkout URL to webhook I never use. It just basically makes you check out by yourself manually instead of having the bot do it for you. And then Captcha, obviously if there's a Captcha, then you check it. If there's no Captcha, you don't. Over here in Finalize, you can select random for a random size. There's also all like the clothing sizes and all like the shoe sizes going up for all the EU people. And then over here we got our profiles. You can actually, if you click a profile and you shift click down to a different one, it'll select all of them. You can click it, control click, and it'll select the ones that you click on. Same with the sizes. So, yep, and then task count is how many you want of each. So since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, it'll make 30. But if I make task count 2, it'll make 60 because it'll just double each. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the new task. Alright guys, next up we have profiles. So profiles is basically your information, your card information, your address, and what the bot uses to check out. So shipping information, you enter all your name, address, and then this stuff. Jig address, it basically just like changes it up a little, so it'll change like some letters of your address. I usually don't use this feature, I just change it up myself. Usually keep billing the same as shipping, so just check here. But if it's different, you just uncheck and fill that out. Payment information, name on card, card number, this is all pretty self-explanatory. One checkout per site is pretty useful for footsites since you can only really get one on each site, so you just check this and then save it, and then basically if one profile checks out on Footlocker and you have more than one task on Footlocker with that profile, it'll just decline all of the rest that attempt to check out. Supreme Japan, that's only if you're in Japan. I don't really use it, I don't live in Japan, so. And then you can make your title over here, and you can make your email and your phone number. Jake phone number, just change the phone number because phone number usually doesn't really matter. Dot trick is it places dots between the letters in your Gmail or email because dots aren't really read, but I usually just use different emails because it's safer. So yeah, you just save your profile right here. Clear fields just clears everything that you typed in. Randomized values just makes everything random. So yeah, I just make everything completely random. If you want to export your profiles, you'd go up here. You can export right here, import right here if you have like a import tool like AYCD or Essentials. And then this clears all your profiles, which I'm not going to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it for profiles. Alright guys, next up is going to be proxies. Proxies are very important, they're essential to your success. So over here, I have it selected as my global list. Global, I usually just leave blank because I like to run Shopify using the global list because it just uses my local IP, and local IP does pretty well. But if you want to create a new group, you can just use this, and then you can name the group like test, type in your proxies. Each line is a new proxy, or you can just copy paste if you generate them, and then create the group. So once you have the group created, you can select to view. So this is the one I just made. You can test them on each site using the PD tester. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I sometimes use it and it does pretty well for me. So you can select which site. So I'll just say Kith. Just test it selecting the proxy group, and it'll test it. So obviously this isn't a real proxy, so it'll just say failed. But yeah, if you have real proxies, you can test them and see if they're working and they're fast. So clear just clears the group. Clear failed will clear the failed tested ones, and then delete group just deletes the group basically. I'll just delete it. Over here, I don't really think you need this part, but I think it's for like if you want to make some proxies or have like a proxy generator key or something. But yeah, I don't really worry about that part. So yeah, that's pretty much it for proxy group. Next up, I'm going to show you how to create a shipping rate. Shipping rates are very useful. I use them for Shopify all the time. It basically makes it so that when you run the task, it doesn't have to find the rate, it'll automatically just submit it. So I'll show you guys how to create one. You just create a new one, select the site, also a Kith. This create product URL means you go to the Kith site, try to find a product that's near the price and about the same thing as what you're gonna buy. So say I'm buying like a jacket that's $245, and I'll just find something like that, copy the link, go back to P and then paste the link, create it, X out, and then it should create the rate for you. And then you can use this rate when you create a task. So I have Kith here, and I would check custom shipping rate, go down to Kith, select Kith, and then when you create a task, it'll use that rate. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up is the accounts tab. So I don't use the accounts tab at all, but maybe some people do. This is for if you need to test your accounts. So let's say for concepts, you have an email like this, and you want to test it to see if it's banned. You do this, and you just click test, and it'll come back as something. It'll say failed. I think there's some problems with the account tester right now, so you might want to just test it by creating a task and running it and see if it logs in. But in case it ever gets fixed in the future, then this could be useful if you have a lot of accounts and you want to test them. Over here we'll clear all the failed ones, so we'll clear it, and then clear will clear all the accounts. You can create a new group of accounts for a site, and then you can also delete a group. Next up, we have settings. So settings are pretty important because if you have a wrong setting, you're not going to copy anything. So you need to make sure you have your settings right. So first up, we have our webhooks. You can make your Discord webhook. You just got to make your own server and then find the webhook URL, paste that in here. If you have a different hook for manual and carts, then you would click different hooks and paste your new hook in here. And if you have Slack, then obviously you paste your Slack hook in here. I don't use Slack, so I don't have one. You can select your default theme. Theme is just like the color of the background, so I always just use main. I like main. AYCD autosolve, token and API key. I don't use AYCD, so I don't use it, but if you have autosolve, you just put your token in here, key in here, and yeah, and you just save it. Over here is for Easy Supply, the v3 login and tester, or not tester, just v3 login. So first up, you would just, if you're using your local IP, you just select or type in localhost, save it first, and then you would just log into your Gmail account. If you click this G, it'll pop up with this. You just sign in, and then you can exit out. It'll be logged in. This trash can clears the v3 session. It logs you out, and then refresh. Sometimes if you get stuck on waiting for Captcha for Easy Supply, you can just click this. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Down here, enable Slack means you're using your Slack webhook. Over here, enable Discord, which I use, sends my webhooks to my Discord. And then auto click, basically I always just have this on. It's very useful for captchas, because if you have a lot of captchas, then you want auto click. Advanced v3 is useless. You don't have to use this at all since they added this. So I just leave it unchecked for every site. I don't worry about it at all. Waterfall monitor is if you're monitoring for a release, say it's for like Shopify and you have a ton of tasks and you don't want to, and you're using Rezzies or something, but you don't know when it's going to drop, you don't want to waste your data, you can just have one task monitor, and then when that picks up, then all the rest will pick up, but I just leave this off. Access with PayPal is, you barely really use this, except for like maybe Juice Store. If they only allow PayPal checkout, you just check this. Auto login on load means when you load in, it'll just automatically log in for you. I just keep this off. And AYCD is if you use this, obviously. Test hooks, basically, if you click this, it'll send you a hook, and in your Discord, you should see a notification to see if your hook worked. And then time, it just takes you to the time.is site to see your machine time, and then Google Logout all just logs you out of all the harvesters and all this stuff. Over here, we have the quick tasks. So if you use quick tasks from the PD Discord monitors, then it would just select like the default mode you use for Shopify. So if you use Super Safe and Advanced, I would just use Super Safe, but I never really use this. So, and then 50/50 would just use both. Checkout delay for Supreme. This is for Supreme. If you want a quick test, usually you don't really use that. Default account will use your default account for whichever site. So for concepts, you just put your account here and it'll use that. Default proxy group. So say you're creating like footsite quick tasks, it would just automatically use, if you select like say hex footsites then and save this, then it'll, every time I create quick tasks, it'll just select this proxy group. Default accounts group, I don't use this at all. It's if you have saved accounts. And then clothing size, if you want to select the size, shoe size, profile, whichever profile you want to use, and then number of tasks. So this part I really don't use, but if you use quick tasks, then it could be helpful. Reset just basically resets all your settings to the PD default, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, next up we have the stats tab. So stats is just like shows all your checkouts. So right now I have 0 because I didn't buy anything today, but you can select like this stuff and then refresh just refreshes all of it. So it'll show my total checkouts. If you click this, it'll show everything you checked out. This will show like what you bought in a day, week, month, all time. It'll show all your checkouts, whatever you want to see. And then fails just means you got card declined or the task couldn't check out. And then checkouts is all the successful checkouts. And then we also have shop here. Shop just, it doesn't really do anything. You can select your themes. I use the main theme, but if I want the white theme, I can click activate. It'll change this, solar red, and then all down to here. There's a bunch of stuff, and you can just see what you like. That's pretty much it for these two. Next up, I'm going to talk about Captcha harvesters. So harvesters are very important for Shopify. Basically, if you click number 1, it'll open your first harvester. It should open here. Select checkout only if it's only for checkouts. That's usually if you have 2 harvesters open, but right now I'm just going to only use 1, so I'm just going to have it not opened. Localhost just means I'm using my local IP and then saves here, but if I want to put a proxy in, then I would just put the proxy in here and save it. This button is the login button. It'll sign me into YouTube, and then I could watch some YouTube before the drop to warm up my Gmail, and then this just logs it out. And then this refreshes if there's any problem, like if you have a blank Captcha or just something went wrong and you just refresh it, it should reload. And then over here you have up to 10 harvesters. You can open as many as you need. I usually just use 2 or 3. Over here it launches all the harvesters, so it'll just launch all 10 at the same time. Over here we'll reset all of them, so it'll just like close all of them and lock them out. And then this is a question solver. This is newly added, so I haven't really used this yet because I haven't ran for a site that needs questions, but I think you just have Google open and it'll automatically, and you can copy it and then you just put the answer in here and submit. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for this part. Next is the cookie harvester. So cookie harvester I haven't used in a while because the script is pretty useful and it's a lot better. But basically you can select like a proxy group you want to use to harvest cookies. Select the site, so like Foot Locker, I'll just click generate if I want to start generating them, and it'll start getting some for me. And then clear jar just clears all the cookies that you have for that site. And you can see all the different sites and generate for whatever site you need. And then if you click this plus button, it'll just show all the cookies for all the sites. So, yep. Over here, you can import cookies. So if you generate them from like a different software, then you can import them and add the file. Over here, you can import and overwrite all the cookies, so say I have 1141 for foot action and I have to import 3000 more, it'll just override these, delete these, and then add 3000. So it'll just be 3000 total. Over here, you export all the cookies. I would just export all 1141. It would make a file, and then this just closes the cookie jar. So next there's like the sound here, doesn't really do anything. This is to mute it. This is to deactivate your key if you want to move it to a different device, or you can just message the story companion in Discord. And this is to minimize, this is to close. It's pretty obvious. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the PD guide. I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, just leave a comment down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.